Hello and welcome to Miss Charlotte Astrology. I'm Miss Charlotte, a full-time working astrologer, and on this channel I analyze the astrological charts of public figures, and very often they are celebrities, and that is the case today, as I'll be analyzing the Synastry chart of Queen of the World, Taylor Swift, and her ex-boyfriend, actor Jake Gyllenhaal. So this is a vintage couple, in case you've been living under a rock. They are no longer together. They were together for like 3 or 4 months back in 2010, just before she turned 21. And he was the love that truly turned her into a woman, and that he took a giant shit on her heart. Just ripped that thing out of her chest and shit on it. That's what he did. So he was careless. And it really just, it hurt. But you know what? She turned that into art. That's what she did. So there are many, many songs written about him. I think the most famous are All Too Well and Red. So intense. And we don't like him, do we? And every week for the last year and a bit that she's been on tour, people sing All Too Well. And it's like casting a spell. And I bet he does think about her very often, because that's what songs do. You know, they cast spells. So what's happened to his career? Has he done anything like really good lately? I can't think of anything. No, so maybe that's the Tay voodoo that they're talking about. So before I dive in to their synastry analysis, I just want you guys to know I do 60-minute Zoom readings. They are recorded, so if we do a live reading together, you'll get a copy of that sent to your email. That's just part of the service. If you can't meet up with me, or you'd like something a bit more in your budget, I do 20-minute recorded readings. They don't require an appointment. You just book it. You pick a day and a time in which I can complete the reading, and then it's sent to you within 24 hours. So if that's something you like to do, you'd like to support me and you enjoy my channel, honestly, like that's... Honestly, I'm so grateful if you could do that, because this is my full-time gig. I don't do anything else. This is what I do. If not, please like, subscribe, comment. I really want to grow this channel, as it's just I would like this to be a form of income that can help me pay off debts. I would really like to do that, because I ain't rich, but I'm trying to manifest that. So every like, comment, and sub, you're helping me get there. Thank you. Okay, so let's have a look at Taylor and this Labrador looking man. Like, every time I think of him, every time I think of Jake Gyllenhaal, I think he looks like a Labrador, like a sad puppy dog. And maybe it's because he's got a Taurus midheaven, so he looks so innocent, like a boy next door, but he's a bad man. As you can see, he has a Sagittarius stellium with Neptune. I bet he's a really good gaslighter. Anyway, he's got a Mars in Capricorn. That's good. He works hard. He knows how to make money. And he's got a moon in Gemini, another mutable placement, which is a bit of a fuckboy energy. Her poor little lonely Cancer moon, stellium here, is just not really aspected well with anything. So she felt lonely in this relationship. But there was such an attraction. There was a connection, I think. There was a connection. I think she ultimately felt very lonely in it. Her Mars is in Scorpio. Her Venus is in Aquarius, which is very well matched to his Venus and Sag. I think they're actually at the same degree. So it's an exact sextile, which is really, really good. All right, let's move down and be more focused here. Let's have a look. I bet you think about me. Yes, I used Taylor Swift lyrics for every slide. Yes. Taylor's Sagittarius stellium in Jake's 5th house. So the 5th house is dating and leisure and pleasure. It's not commitment. It's the house of leisure and pleasure. He has his Sagittarius stellium playing out here. So he's someone that really loves to be the center of attention. He really loves to perform. He loves a standing ovation. He's incredibly charismatic and warm and friendly. Very artistic, because 5th house is creativity as well. Like it's standing up on stage. Like 5th house is the Leo house. So if you have placements there, you're someone that does enjoy forms of creative self-expression. So it's an artist placement for sure. So I think with the Neptune here as well, acting and performing is a spiritual thing for him. It is work, but it's also a meditation almost. He is a bit of a workaholic, I think. He does have his Mars exalted in Capricorn. It does trine his midheaven, so he's really good at making money. I think he's very professional when it comes to his work, but he does mix work and pleasure. Like he toes that line. You know, the 5th house is that leisure, pleasure, creativity, and the 6th house is everyday work and routines. And Capricorn and Sagittarius, 5th and 6th house, they are next to each other. You know, and there's a cluster of planets here. So he I wouldn't say he blurs the lines, but I think those two things just come together. The work and the pleasure come together. Did that rhyme? So with this Neptune conjunct Mercury in the 5th house, he needs to be an actor. I think he needs to live out some kind of fantastical story. I think that is true for his work, his creative expression, but it's also true in his love life. I mean, Venus is not too far away here. Venus, even though it is technically in the 4th house, it is playing out in this 5th house as well. You know, love is fun. He loves to date. He is a bit of a hedonist when it comes to romance and sex. And I think he really, he builds these fantastical worlds. When he gets a girlfriend, like this is what I've heard about him. I don't know if it's true. I got it from Dumois, so let's just blame them. I heard when he goes and works for 3-4 months somewhere, he finds a young girl, preferably in her freshman year of college, apparently, and he wifes her up for those 3-4 months. And that makes a lot of sense with these placements. That's how long he was with Taylor, 3-4 months. Love is for a good time, not a long time. I think in his own mind, because he's so idealistic, 5th houses can be very idealistic about love. They can be quite, they can be really caught up in the fantasy. Leo placements, 5th house placements. I think in his mind, I believe in love. I'm going to find that love one day. But Sagittarians are hungry people, and they're always dissatisfied, perpetually dissatisfied. Once they get that thing that they want, that they've chased, they don't want to know more, right? Once they get what they want, they don't want it anymore. That's a reoccurring theme. That's why a lot of the Sagittarius placements, they miss out on a lot of things because they're so busy trying to experience and experiment and go on these journeys, and they can't stay grounded in anything. They miss out on true love. They miss out on, wonderful experiences that are long lasting because they keep chasing a fleeting moment. And I see that with him. And when he got with Taylor, he created this fantastical world, and he wifed her up for 3-4 months. Her sun sits on his Mercury and his Neptune. So this relationship was almost like it's a piece of art, like this for her, certainly, like this experience helped her create. It helped her evolve. But it was incredibly painful. Like, Neptune is the planet of sacrifice and loss and delusion. And I think he lied a lot to her. I think he knows how to be a great gaslighter. Like, Mercury is words and communication. Neptune is delusion and fantasy. He's really good at creating these crazy situations, these fantastical situations that go from heaven to hell. And he dragged her through that. He dragged her in, he sucked her in, and he spat her back out. Because she probably, in her mind, thought, oh, I'm going to have a future with you. I'm going to have babies with you. We're going to be together. And they looked good together. They did. I think that was part of it. It's just a mess. But I'm sorry to say, this is how he saw her. She was for a good time, not a long time, unfortunately. His Uranus is on her Mars. Oh, that's a bit unstable. So he puts her in situations that have her like feeling the ground is rocky beneath her feet, right? Because Uranus is like the earthquake, and Mars is your sense of direction. And if there's that's like an earthquake happening, like you're trying to stay still in an earthquake, or you're trying to move forward in an earthquake. But how can I do that when I'm always being tripped up? This is a trip up. Uranus on the Mars, like I can be very powerfully sexually potent, especially Venus not far away. Like it was pretty much almost a conjunction. I think there's a strong sexual romantic connection for sure, but this really this is the rug being pulled out from under her, and she didn't see it coming. Their Mars placements are very compatible. Their Venuses are very compatible. Like I can understand why there was such a sexual romantic connection here. Like Mars in Capricorn and Mars in Scorpio are gonna get along. They sextile a Venus in Sagittarius and a Venus in Aquarius, which we'll have a look at later. That's a sextile, and their suns are in a conjunction. It's almost like there's something very twinning going on here. I don't mean in the sibling way, but in the spiritual way. They're kind of, in a way, they're quite well matched with these placements. And like her Mercury's here. Mercury's her mind. She's got that Mercury in this Capricorn stellium. His Mars is here. Mars is the phallus. Mars is the PP, right? So the fact that that is sitting on there, it is through sex. It is through fighting. It is through drama. It is through war that she is prompted to create from her mind and write. Mercury is writing lyrics and speaking and singing and things like that. So yeah, interesting. And here and they both have that Uranus Mars. It's not a conjunction, but Uranus and Mars are interacting with each other here. You see that? His Mars in Capricorn and her Uranus in Capricorn. They're not in a conjunction, but they are together. It's very unstable situation, but a very sexy one. Sexy and unstable. Let's move to the next slide. Fighting with him was like trying to solve a crossword and realizing there's no right answer. Taylor's malefic Scorpio stellium in Jake's 4th house. Okay. She fought with him. She argued with him. His IC, and that marks out the 4th house of the home, is in Scorpio, and he has Uranus here. Does anyone know what his family were like? Were they crazy? From my superficial understanding of him, it seems like he has a pretty close, tight-knit relationship with his family, like his sister. He's close to his sister, I guess, like that. But whenever I see Uranus in the 4th house, I'm like, that's an unstable household, or at least for him, like a chaotic household. Even if they're close now, I'm wondering if maybe there was lots of fighting in his house. Like, why does he treat women the way he does? Why does he have this alternative lifestyle where he goes out for 3 to 4 months of the, every 3 to 4 times a year, he's making a movie, whatever the hell, and he shacks up with some young girl, and then he moves on and breaks her heart and moves on. Like, what is that? What is that chaotic mess? What is that Uranus in the 4th house mess? Was he not given a home that was stable? Did his father cheat on his mom? Does anyone know anything about this? Because we can say what you want. He comes from a nice home, and they're so typical, and they have the pretty perfect family life. I just don't buy that with Uranus in the 4th house. There is some kind of instability here, and how that has played out as he's gotten older, when he's left home as an adult, he has a chaotic, unconventional, we'll say that. I don't want to use the word chaotic all the time. It's an unconventional lifestyle. Uranus is not convention. Uranus is progress, and it is the earthquake, and it is the thunderbolt, and it's in the 4th house of where you rest your head. he might prefer to live alone. I think he might actually prefer to live alone and be his weirdo self, and then he has a woman in his life that he can romance and woo, and then she's gone because he wants another one. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case. Uranus is forming a conjunction with his Venus as well, so it's just a revolving door. I could see a revolving door of women in and out of his bed, in and out of his life. Her Lilith is on his IC, so she brought hellfire. Like, Lilith is that dark feminine. She's like, do not neglect me. Do not treat me like crap. Do not be an ass. And, Lilith does not like being hurt and abused or neglected. And that's what happened to her. Maybe not abused, but like neglected at the very least. And I will say Pluto is in this. Pluto is playing out in this 4th house as well. Juno is the wife. Lilith is the divorced wife. So it's very interesting because all these planets, well, they're not planets, like these asteroid, these points, they represent some form of intimacy. Like Pluto represents marriage and contracts and commitments, transformation and death. Juno is the wife and commitment, and Lilith is that dark feminine. She's the divorced wife. So all of that energy is in his 4th house of the home, along with her Mars fighting in the home. A lot of sex in the home for sure. So yeah, I think it must have been a mix of boredom, but also he might have felt like she was just in his space. And it's just too much stimulation. If there's going to be stimulation in his 4th house, he needs to be the one to create it. He doesn't want someone to be to do it. He doesn't want someone to do that for him. He can do it all by himself. He too has Lilith and Juno together with Pluto though. 3rd house. Oh, you know what? He's very selective with his friendship groups. He's got that Kate Middleton 3rd house as well. A bit. Yeah. I just feel like he's the king of the court. Like, it's a very... He has a court and he's the king. And in that song, the music video for All Too Well, I can see him just being at that table with her, and he drops her hand with all the friends around him. Like, he's King Henry in his court. And she's one of his wives, and he's gonna cut her head off or divorce her or whatever. Like, that's the energy. It's not as extreme as that. I'm just trying to think of something a situation that reminds me of this 3rd house with this Jupiter and with this Saturn and with this Pluto and with this Lilith and this. It's just a lot. Juno here too. That's a lot. This guy's chaotic. Next slide. You keep me like a secret, but I kept you. You kept me like a secret, but I kept you like an oath. Taylor's Cancer Stellium in Jake's dirty 12th house. She is a secret. I think he was actually embarrassed or even ashamed to be with someone like her, because I think in his mind, if he's going to go public with a girl, and he hasn't yet because he likes young girls that are not as intellectually advanced as him, because a lot of them haven't even left college. I think he's attracted to that. He's attracted to that young ingenue thing. And I think if he wants to go public, he needs to be with someone that is respectable or someone that is serious in the public eye. Her moon and her Jupiter and her Chiron and Ceres, it all falls into his 12th house. His 12th house cusp lies in Cancer. So anything in your 12th house is going to be some kind of hidden secret thing. It's going to be a taboo. It's going to be, it's a very wild house because those are the unseen things. That's the dirty behavior. Those are the addictions. Those are those quiet hidden things that are very chaotic that you don't want out in the open. And her moon and Jupiter, all these things, they play out in that house. That's why I used the lyric, you kept me like a secret and I kept you like an oath. Because this is a dirty little secret. I'm with a 19, 20-year-old girl that I find really attractive, but I don't respect her because she's not as intellectual as I am. But I also kind of like that because then I don't have to commit to her and I can use the excuse that we're not the same age. The North Node on his ascendant, I wonder if listen, I don't know if he's going to get married. Maybe he will, but that's a lonely North Node. I'll get to the end and we'll have a look at the whole chart. I just feel like with a North Node on the ascendant in Leo, he's all about himself and my desires and my art and what I want to do. That's all right, but just admit that you're a narcissist and you gaslit this poor girl. And have you noticed that she has her South Node in Leo. So because they're 9 years, 10 years apart in age, they've got opposing North Nodes. So they were almost teaching each other how to get to where they were. But we'll talk about that in a moment. Loving him is like driving a new Maserati down a dead-end street. Taylor's North Node and Venus in Jake's 7th house. Do you see how he has nothing in Aquarius but his descendant? So the relationship on his end, and I don't know if he intellectualized it this way, but because her Venus, which is the heart, right? Venus rules actually the 7th house. To have her Venus in his 7th house, she actually kind of, I think even he saw this. In a lot of ways, she was the perfect partner for him. I think even for a moment, he believed he could be with her forever. You know, Venus lying in this, like, or playing out in that 7th house is so ideal. So ideal. But that North Node's got really nowhere to go. Like, is he properly taking her anywhere, or is she just serving him and being his partner and cooperating with him? Her placements are falling into his 7th house of partnership and his 12th house of dirty little secret. It's not the most, like, they're not it's not very honorable energy, you know. She's not being taken anywhere except to serve him and be his partner for that period of time. He doesn't have any Aquarius placements that are going to be meaningful to her. So in terms of staying together, there's just nothing there for her. That's why I use the quote, being in love with him was like driving a new Maserati down a dead-end street. This is the dead-end fucking street right here. This descendant with nothing in there is the dead-end street. Is a dead end. And that's the Maserati. the North Node. The North Node is the Maserati. Yeah. Not the best. Okay. Let's go to the last one. Okay. So I'm going to talk about these North Node, South Node placements. Okay. So you'll see her North Node is here in Aquarius. His North Node is here in Leo. So that means that each other's South Nodes are on each other's North Nodes. So when people come together, and they have to be usually 9 or 10 years apart in age, or even 20 years apart in age. So there's going to be a big age difference with people with opposing North Nodes. That's why I'm a big fan of intergenerational friendships, because that person is going to show you where that person's going to teach you how to get to where you need to be, because that is where they started from. So, and it's an effortless energy for them. So this is actually one of the compatible placements. It doesn't mean that they're together forever, but it just means that they were pivotal in each other's lives, even if it was for a very short time. I don't know anything about him, but if I don't know anything, barely anything, except I'm familiar with a few movies. I know he dated Kirsten Dunst for a while and Reese Witherspoon, right? That's what I'm aware of. His South Node is in the 7th house of partnership. So maybe he was always having girlfriends. That's what he's accustomed to. He knows how to be in cooperative partnerships, even if they are chaotic in Aquarius. he knows how to be diplomatic and deal with people. And the thing he has to learn how to do is become more Leo and more about himself and be independent and single, right? I'm oversimplifying that, but we're talking more about Taylor here. So he taught her how to be in partnership, dancing around a room in the refrigerator light. Like, that's very seventh house. Like, it's very romantic. He taught her how to do that. And she taught him how to, she taught him how to be a star, I guess. Like, I know he was a bigger celebrity than she was at the time. But if you look at it now, she's now the biggest star. She's the one that is a big deal. And where's his career? No. But I think he'll come back. I think when he has another nodal return or something, he might. Yeah. But hopefully he looks back on this situation and he sees how valuable she was to him. I think that he's looking at her and appreciating who she is as an artist. Maybe he finally sees something, because Leo is artistic, right? Leo is an artistic energy. Hopefully now he appreciates her talent, because I don't think he did early on. And now that she's written so many songs about him and shit talked him, maybe now he gets it. And maybe he can learn something from her and learn how to be the it boy again as he ages, hopefully. Because Leo energy is main character energy, but he's not right now. We'll see. We'll see what happens to his career. Okay, let's do the summary and final thoughts. So Taylor and Jake were twin flames. You know, I know that in the spiritual industry, everybody talks about twin flames and people think it means forever. Think about two little matchsticks, right? And they're burning. Do you think they're going to last forever? No. Twin flames can go out very easily. They're only meant to be together for a little while, or maybe a long while, but not forever, very much. The soulmates and twin flames, in my mind, are two different things. But they were twin flames swapping batons, the North Node and South Node conjunction. They came together, they swapped batons, and then they separated. So they could each teach each other how to get to where they needed to be. Hopefully, she taught him how to truly be in that Leo North Node, like how to be an artist and how to be a star. And I know Leo is it can be perceived as a superficial energy, but it is self-expression and it is truly an artistic placement. And he didn't see that at the time. Well, fucking hopefully now he does. And then for her, I mean, she's becoming more political and more intellectual. And that's what he started out with his South Node in Aquarius. So yeah, swapping batons, teaching each other how to get to where they need to be, even if it ends in disaster. They were very important to each other. There was just no long-term thing there. Taylor saw a fantastical future with Jake while he saw a fleeting moment. So that's why I was saying earlier, she was for a good time, not a long time. Taylor was hidden by Jake because her Cancer stellium was in his 12th house of dirty little secrets. And their sextiled Venuses in Aquarius and Sagittarius would make this an exciting romance, which had squandered potential. So her Venus is in Aquarius. So what she values is, I mean, I feel like Venus in Aquarius this is my perception because I have a Venus in Taurus and I'm not attracted to this shit. This is just my prejudice right now talking, so I'm just letting you know. Aquarius love a chaotic love life. They love a chaotic relationship. They love a relationship that's very intellectually stimulating, right? It's an air sign. It's literally a sign of chaos. So if your Venus lies in there, you are going to want to stick with someone who's always giving you some kind of adventure. That's what they did as well. They went on adventures. They went traveling together a little bit. Like they got out of town and they were and Aquarius and Sagittarius are very last minute plans, you know? A Sagittarius Venus is going to want someone Sagittarius Venuses often get with people that are much older or much younger than them, or people from a completely different world, like an alien world, because they also need that intellectual stimulation. They also need to have relationships that are going to open them up on the spiritual and intellectual level. And when you have sextile Venuses, actually, my mum and dad have these same Venuses. My dad's a Sag Venus. My mum was an Aquarius Venus. So chaotic. You think I was happy in that household? No, I wasn't. Anyway, they love it. My mum and dad, like these two, they kind of just they love the chaos. They're chaotic Venus signs. That's not the reason why they didn't work out, though. Like, I think this is actually a placement that could have done really well in the long term. That's probably why at some point they both thought maybe we can be together, but other placements tell me that it was like a no-go. But yeah, Sagittarius is going to want to travel and is going to want to learn. Maybe that's also part of the reason why he's a bit of a wank and he's a little bit of a pretentious dick. And her Aquarius Venus wanted to be free and wanted to have a very I think she just thought, oh my God, with him on my arm, we can be in love together and make it so public. Like Aquarius Venus, it's a loud sign. So very often they do want to have someone on their arm that can get along with all of their friends. Because Aquarius is a friendship energy. And yeah, you know what really sucked though is that he really didn't want her talking to his friends. Maybe they had that one dinner, like in that, you know, that movie that Taylor Swift made, or the All Too Well 10-minute version video. I saw in that, I was like, oh my God, he's kind of ashamed of her. He really doesn't like her in his friendship circle. Maybe he was testing the waters with her, and she felt really put down because it was like he wasn't proud of her because she wasn't as smart or the same age and all of that. Anyway, that must have hurt her little Aquarius Venus that she couldn't fit in with his friendship group. And finally, Jake does not provide a stable home life. No. Great sex. Nice connection. Long-term stability. No. Not at all. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment to support me. I do have all the readings linked below. I would appreciate the support. And thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I will have more videos for you coming up. So, yeah. Bye.